My goddess Palki Sharma is in China, yet still seamlessly hosts her India-based show. She recently released numerous videos claiming that China and India are reconciling, with Xi Jinping and Modi rebuilding ties, and that Putin, Xi, and Modi are forming an alliance to counter Trump. Honestly, I've often criticized her in the past because she liked to lie and defame China. But her recent videos still make me laugh, mainly because she lacks basic understanding of the world and has no grasp of international politics or economics. Perhaps, like Modi, her worldview is stuck in the last century, where great powers divided into camps, each recruiting followers to confront others. In reality, in the 21st century, every major power's foreign policy prioritizes its own interests. It's rare for two countries to become allies and jointly defend shared interests. This takes decades to build, enduring temptations of various interests and tests from other forces. China once devoted its entire nation to helping North Korea and Vietnam resist the US, but later these countries' relations with China soured. Vietnam even fought a border war with China. Chinese people never treat North Korea as an ally, but as a pawn to check South Korea, the US, and Japan. China also never expects Vietnam to form deep cooperation with it. Once a country betrays China, no matter how hard it tries later, it's difficult to dispel China's suspicions. China can pursue win-win cooperation with these countries, but won't sacrifice core interests or take major risks for them. The US periodically harvests its traditional allies like South Korea, Japan, and Europe, forcing them to bleed for the US when they haven't grown new wool. In recent years, China and Pakistan have had good relations, though some negative incidents have occurred. China strongly supports Pakistan at critical moments because Pakistan has never betrayed China at key historical junctures. As long as Pakistan doesn't betray China, China must honor its commitments, as dictated by Chinese cultural tradition. Such an alliance takes generations to build. It's not something two leaders can establish by meeting and snapping a handshake photo. Confronting the US is a big deal. China and the US are in confrontation, but many interests beyond core ones are negotiable. While confrontation may not be fully eliminated, de-escalation is possible. China would never delay negotiations with the US for India's sake. If China and the US reach agreement on core issues, China won't continue confronting the US, leaving India with only verbal support from China. Moreover, India frequently shifts stances, and Chinese people don't know when it might turn toward the US. Of course, besides fantasizing about India joining China and Russia to counter the US, Palki's other key duty is to boast about India. She released a video claiming India's economy grew 7.8% from April to June, addressing external doubts. Honestly, I've raised the issue of India's economic data falsification multiple times. Since Modi took office, India's GDP has surpassed that of Britain, France, and other European countries, but its electricity consumption and industrial output haven't risen correspondingly. This GDP, which includes cow dung, is only for self-entertainment. India's foreign direct investment dropped 98% in May. Doesn't that speak for itself? Besides, I don't know what Palki's video aims to convey. The US imposed a 50% tariff on India in August, and the real impact will show in the final quarter's economic performance. If her mind is still clear, she shouldn't release such meaningless videos. I recall her repeatedly boasting that Apple's move to India elevated its role in global supply chains. Has she forgotten which country Apple belongs to? If Modi keeps confronting the US and angers Trump, not only will American companies like Apple exit India, but firms from South Korea, Japan, and Europe won't dare invest either. China can confront the US because the US relies on China's supply chains, and China can significantly impact the US in finance and military domains. India not only heavily depends on the US market, but has almost no means to counter US sanctions. I want to ask Palki why India is so humiliated by the US. Not only has Trump repeatedly claimed India had warplanes shot down, from 5 to 7, But officials like J.D. Vance and Scott Bessent have also repeatedly insulted India, calling it unimportant. Isn't this due to India's weak national strength? The world's fourth largest GDP, fabricated by Modi and the BJP government, only deceives Indian citizens and fuels their euphoria. What real impact does it have? India's population and territory are far larger than Pakistan's, yet it was unilaterally crushed in air combat. India still lacks any globally significant industry except cow dung and scams. If such a country isn't humiliated, which one should be? Take Japan as an example. Would the US dare treat Japan the way it treats India? Would the US dare treat Germany this way? Why not? Although their GDP is similar to India's, their data is real. Germany and Japan hold absolute advantages in many industrial sectors, such as precision instruments, machinery, composite materials, and chemicals. In daily consumer goods like cars and electronics, they are also highly competitive. These countries have some ability to counter the US in finance and trade. Even France, which Trump claims relies on US protection to avoid becoming a German colony, isn't a country the US can casually tariff. The extreme contempt from Trump and US officials toward India stems from its fabricated data failing to support its national strength. India has no means to retaliate against the US. Would stopping cow dung exports or scamming Americans make Trump afraid? I've said in previous videos that Modi and the BJP's boasting and falsification are extremely harmful to India. They've completely destroyed India's historic opportunity for industrialization. If this isn't corrected soon with an honest, credible leader, India will fall into an abyss. Many Indians in the comments say, "I'm jealous of India's development and that China can't stop India from becoming a superpower." Such laughable claims can't change the rampant mockery of India by netizens from other countries. Yes, the best way for a country to earn respect is to earnestly develop its economy, fix flawed policies, and return to the right path. Boasting and falsifying data is like taking Viagra. It may give Modi a fleeting sense of strength. But if he's unwilling to change his habit of wearing a skirt, he can't build a tough guy image. No world leader respects Modi. Diplomatic pleasantries are worthless compared to pragmatic trade agreements. If India and Modi want to turn to China, they must fully commit immediately, kissing Xi Jinping's, but to secure China's rare earth supplies and lift technology restrictions on India. Otherwise, don't come to China. Fly to Washington to kiss Trump's butt, beg the US to lower tariffs to 25%, and unconditionally open markets like agriculture as the US demands. India isn't qualified to play the middle ground, wavering between China and the US. No politician on earth is dumber than Modi. His two-faced nature has long been seen through by everyone.